Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Ratliff Mandolins weekly production diary. It is Monday afternoon, and what a day it's been. I started off this morning on the telephone trying to fix my website issues. The website went down this weekend, and eventually wound up calling a friend of mine who is a computer guru, who called a friend of his who is also a computer guru, and between the both of them, I think they got it fixed. Many thanks to those guys. But by the time it was all said and done, I didn't get a chance to come down here to the shop until almost 1 o'clock. So I decided to do some errand running, and I went to the bank and the post office, picked up a package of truss rods that I had ordered, including the 2 longer truss rods for the mando-cellos in this batch, which is good because we're working on the next right now. And then I decided to work on this particular repair that I have here from the state of Washington. It's one of my mandolins that needs to have the truss rod replaced, and so I did at least get the fretboard off of it before I had a visitor who come and stayed until just a few minutes ago. And as many of you know, I have music students that come in here at 5 o'clock on Mondays. I teach on Mondays. It's about 10 minutes till 5 right now. They'll be here in just a few minutes. So it's been quite a day, and that's my diary entry for today, Monday, August the 23rd, 2021. So it is Tuesday morning, and we're just going to pick up more or less where we left off yesterday evening. I'll describe the job jar list in order of importance today. Number 1, we're going to work on this mandolin here. I'm going to dig this truss rod out and replace it with a new one of the new style. And once I get that one glued in, we're going to move into the front room, and I'm going to work on the inlay for mandolin number 3. So we'll probably later on in the day we'll be cutting abalone, I think. And then after we get that taken as far as we can take it today, if there's any time left over, we're going to go into the big room and work on the mando-cello next. So that's our job jar list in order of importance, and I'm going to get to it right now. Hey, I thought I'd drop back in for just a second and let you know that I dug out all the old crappy truss rod stuff, and I have the new fancy model ready to go in. And all I have to do now is cut an appropriately shaped piece of wood to kind of fill in on top of it, glue that in, and that's all I can do to that today. Okay, so this is the piece of abalone that we're going to inlay in the headstock of mandolin number 3. It's already been partially cut out, and my normal procedure is to cut until I'm afraid of it and afraid that it's going to break on me, and then I'll glue that to a board. It's a real thin piece of excess sidewood actually, and then once that dries, then I'll be able to hold it here and cut it over there, drill some holes, and then soak everything in water, and the abalone will just lift off and not be broken. So that's the idea there. So I'm almost done with this abalone and being ready to glue it into the peg head, inlay it into the peg head. And this mandolin is also going to get some diamonds like this one. And so these are the diamonds that are laid out, and I'm going to cut those next. And I'll be lucky to get all that done before quitting time. So that is basically my Tuesday diary entry. It is mid-afternoon on Wednesday, and I just got through sewing out our fish inlay. I gave you a good close-up of that with something to back it with so you can see it real good. And it's going to go into a tub of water, and the inlay itself will be soaked off of the board. By tomorrow we'll be able to just pick it up real good. and easy. Also this morning I glued the fingerboard onto the repair back there on the repair bench, and I'm going to finish up with these diamonds, I hope, today. And if there's any time left, we'll go in there and work on those mando-cello necks. But I don't know, we'll just find out about that. So here we go. Thursday morning here, and I'm working on this mandolin that we glued the fretboard on yesterday. This mandolin actually come in here to begin with for just your basic points and plugs tune-up, tweak the truss rod and fretwork and lower the action sort of thing. When I discovered that the truss rod had been overly tightened in the past at some point, pulled out, and so decided to replace it with a better, newer truss rod, which we did, glued the fretboard on yesterday. My procedure from this point on will be to pull the rest of these frets out, put tension back on the strings, let the mandolin settle in for a couple of weeks and do whatever it's going to do to settle in, and then take it out, snip the strings as quickly as I possibly can, walk in there to the belt sander and level the frets up, or level the fretboard up, and then refret it, and everything will be as good as new. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day here. I'm going to finish pulling these frets out, putting tension on the strings. We'll put it in the case. We won't see this mandolin again for another couple of weeks, and I will go to the front room to continue working on mandolin number 3 and its inlay. There's a shot of the inlay before it's put into the mandolin, and here's one after it's been put into the mandolin. So that's where we're at. The inlay's been put in. I think I'll spend the rest of the day putting the diamond inlays in, and then probably flipping it over, sizing the neck, and starting the sanding job in preparation for putting finish on it next week. So there's how I'm going to spend the rest of my Thursday. It is Friday around quitting time, and I have spent all day today working on mandolin number 3. Finished up the inlay and the fretboard, and cleaned everything up, got it ready to put the frets in, and then I spent the rest of the day either answering the phone or dealing with visitors or sanding on this thing. And I've got it sanded down to 220 grit paper on most of it. So after I finish up this last little bit of side, I should be able to wet it down and then resand it and fit the handle and perhaps shoot finish on it Monday or Tuesday. So get it stained and everything. So we're looking forward to that in next week's video. But for now, we're going to close this week's video off. Wishing you guys a happy weekend and everything. check back with us next week, each and every week, for a brand new episode of the Ratliff Mandolins Weekly Production Diary. And we'll look forward to seeing you in future editions. And bye for now.